Shri Ravi Vig, Shri Ravi Chaudhary, Shri Raghu Marwa, MS Anupama Arya, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am grateful to the national convener of the Trade and Industry Cell of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Shri Ravi Vig, for having invited me to this evening's function. We met a few days ago, and he told me that this was an interactive session with young Indians. And I thought this will be a good occasion to share a few thoughts with young people. We have just heard Mr. Ravi Chaudhary. It's been a very inspiring speech that he has given, and he has not confined himself, except for the taxation part with which he dealt. He has not confined himself with immediate issues, but has seen the problem in the long term and in its overall national perspective, and told us what needs to be done if we want to have a healthy, educated, prosperous and happy society. But when I looked at the subject for this evening, National Economy, a Vision for Revival, I decided to take a shorter term view. Because why are we talking of revival suddenly at this stage? We are talking of revival because of the reasons which have been explained by earlier speakers. Because we are not growing as fast as we wish to grow, and the general feeling about the economy is that we are stalemated, we are in the doldrums, and we need to get out of this. Now, therefore, if we want to look at prescriptions which are in the short term, and at best medium term, so let's look at how we can revive the economy over the next couple of years. How can we give ourselves a sustainable rate of growth over the medium term, and then take into account the issues which Mr. Ravi Chaudhary has drawn our attention to, so that we can have sustainable growth over the long term. And before I delve into this, I'd like to point out to you that we have often taken certain things for granted. For instance, when we started growing at over 8% from the year 2003-04, which incidentally was the last year of the NDA regime, and then for about 4 years we saw over 8% growth, we saw nearly double-digit growth. We thought this was our destiny. And we don't just have to do anything but course along. Very few of us started to ask the question as to why suddenly we started growing so fast from 2003-04. And I have not seen much literature on this subject. Analyzing the factors which enabled us to achieve that Chinese rate of growth, if I could describe it like that. And then when things started going wrong, then we were left absolutely dazzled, bewildered, because we had not understood the factors which gave us that growth. We were not able to understand the factors which denied us that growth. And it is this part of the management of the economy and policy that I wish to talk in some detail today. As far as the foreigner is concerned, his only one question to all of us is the India growth story over? And I was responding to this in a debate in the Lok Sabha 3-4 months ago. And I said with full conviction, which gladdened the heart of the then finance minister, I said the India growth story is not over. We may have run into some temporary setbacks, but if only we put our act together, we will revive the India growth story and we'll be able to move forward. And this is the message that I gave to some of the US think tanks with whom I interacted in Washington about 3 months ago. So I'll begin my point today by saying that I am not a pessimist. Despite all the prevailing corruption, despite the slowdown, despite the policy paralysis, despite all that we are witnessing today, I am not a pessimist as far as the future of India is concerned. I continue to be a very robust optimist because I know and I have experienced personally the energy that we all have, the decisiveness which we all have, and the drive that we all have whenever we are called upon to contribute our might to the growth story. And I have no doubt that when we are inspired in that manner, then all of us will start making our contribution, will shed our disappointments, our frustrations, and take this country forward. Now, we have celebrated the 2 decades of economic reforms last year, 2011. And we are in the 21st year of economic reforms. And therefore, it's a greater tragedy that at 21, a person is most vigorous, most enterprising, most active, and we seem to have slowed down at the age of 21. But as I said, this is temporary. Now let me take you back to why we started growing at over 8% in or from 2003-04. And this was not sudden. It was the result of a lot of painstaking effort which was made by the NDA government which had come into office in 1998. And if I could briefly remind you of the kind of situation that we were facing at that time, because there is much talk of um, the global economic meltdown being responsible for what we are experiencing in India today. There was the East Asian crisis, which started sometime in 1997 and it was in full bloom in 1998. And as if that was not enough, we went for the nuclear tests, which led to the imposition of economic sanctions on India by the most powerful economic powers of the world. And this was a similar gloom and doom scenario which developed. Suddenly we seem to have lost confidence. And it appeared as if there was no way in which India will be able to move forward, and even that growth rate of 6-7% that we had seen in the intervening years might not last, and we'll go back to the Hindu rate of growth.